Yes people, what's happening, and welcome back to the Frankie Allen YouTube channel. You are here with myself, Will Cranny, and the UK's most feared comedian, Frankie Allen, and today we have got a reaction video for you. Frank, what video are we deciding to react to?
We are reviewing and reacting to my viral video, which went viral in 2018. It was actually filmed 2017 on Father's Day, and that was in the Barry's Bar, which is known as the Hunting Lodge as well. Barry's Bar's kind of nickname, and it was on Father's Day 2017 in the afternoon. Now that video went viral, which has really been the making of me maybe famous. We're going to review it and look at it today and try and figure out why it was so popular and why did it become such a successful video.
Yeah, so this video has had millions and millions of views across Facebook. It goes viral every so often, and we're going to look at this video and find out, as Frank just said, why you guys like it so much. So let's get into it. So first of all, looking at this now,
yeah.
Do you remember that day quite clearly?
I remember that day and tell you everything about that day. Now that was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or maybe 2:30. I mean, Barry's Bar, it's fucking hell. It's about half a mile from where I live, which makes it also so very strange that all my life I've worked on the clubs everywhere all over the UK, and I get a bit of luck, the video goes viral, only like literally a long walk from my house.
Yeah, so this is an unticketed event. It's just in a pub. At that point, Frankie's pretty unknown UK wide, and yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what people like about this vid.
You gotta take it easy today, this Father's Day. I mean, funny enough, just tell the lads here, my arm.
Wait a sec. You look massive on that, right?
Yeah.
You look about fucking 7 foot tall. What's going on? Why is the video like?
What's going on? The two fellas that were right at the front when I walked in. One was Denny Matthews, world champion boxer, who's a good mate of mine. He had his mate with him, Woodsy, and they're both sitting there. And I noticed Woodsy had his phone at an angle against the pint glass. Just before I went on, he had it switched on, and I said to him, "Oh, look, don't film me, please don't film me." And he said, "Okay." And when I actually got up, obviously the first few minutes of the act is missing because he was filming. I told him to switch it off.
Yeah.
So he turned it off. I don't like getting filmed. Obviously he turned it back on. But the way that the camera is situated, it's at an angle, like almost lying back.
Okay.
So obviously it's filming at an angle, 90 degrees.
Did you know?
So filming up.
Did you know he's filming at this?
No idea it was being filmed at that point.
This is this Father's Day. I mean, funny enough, just tell the lads here, my arm fella was Iraqi. I think he was a fucking bad dad.
It's a good joke, that.
He was a bad dad. Horrible. You alright, mate? What do you think of our planet? We mean you no harm. You're great in Total Recall. Open your mind. Open your mind, Mr. Quaid. Ladies and gentlemen, people say to me, we go too far. Last night at work in an old people's home and no one fucking laughed. But they all pissed themselves anyway. It's a sad day. What's happening here with this paedophile? Fucking know you are, you fucking nonce.
Do you think a lot of that shock factor? Do you think people go, "Wow, I've never heard anyone say things like that before"?
Yeah, there's a bit of a shock factor. Also, with the interaction, I mean, all the thousands of venues I've done over the years, very few really where you do get heckled. You'll see a lot of things on the internet, not just me, but other comedians. There's a comedian getting heckled, comedian getting attacked. But they are one in a million. Most crowds are just sitting there whether they're laughing or they're not laughing. There are very few times when you actually get heckled. On this particular video, on this afternoon, I was getting heckled by this Scottish fella all the time. So it was me and him going on and on for about 25 minutes, half an hour, which is a hell of a long time. So people are fascinated with that, I think, and they're fascinated with wondering who wins in the end, who's going to win.
So you think he's about to start heckling you now, so let's play on.
What's happening with this paedophile? Fucking know you are, you fucking nonce.
Yeah, what's your gay you need there?
Hey, if I was gay, you'd be fucking safe. Is he Scots?
Aye!
Hey, we'll only have a laugh, mate. Fuck off, you dickhead. Fucking fill you in. Is he fucking kicking off?
So wait there. It's just skipped then. Did a fella come back from the toilet? What happened there?
Well, what happened to that big tall skinny guy? He was with the Scottish fella. The Scottish fella was heckling me. I was having a laugh with him, but I didn't really know I think it was his son-in-law, how he was taking it, and he was kind of kicking off in the end. He was getting a bit angry. Now he went to the toilet, and on the way back I thought, this fella, as he's walking towards me, I wasn't sure, but you've got to be very careful. You know, you never know in these situations if you're going to get a belt, if someone's going to punch you. So I was watching myself, and he was moving towards me. He looked kind of angry, but you still can't tell whether, you know, sometimes they don't even know themselves if they're kicking off. When he come out of the toilet, was he angry, wasn't he angry? And he moved towards me, and I just pushed him back. I always push people back, you know, with one of my hands in the chest, keep them away from you. So if they do try and make a swing at you half the time, they'll miss, because you can lean back, get away from the punch, and if it does have to come to it, then maybe give him a belt, you know.
Let's see.
Fucking hopeless. What the fuck is this? I nearly got filled in by fucking AIDS patients. You better film it. In case. You're a big arcade, aren't you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, no offence to this Scottish lad, great.
Look here, 23 years old here.
Oh, so I know you're in court next week, but I've been sex with a cat. The judge will say, don't believe any Scotsman will put anything in a kitty.
Is he actually Scottish, or
He's Scottish. He was an old fella. He was at the bar sitting on a stool. He was okay. He wasn't really kicking off, but he was trying to heckle me all the time. You know, when you're a comedian, what is so difficult about being a comedian, a lot of people don't appreciate or realise. I'm in a pub where there's 200 people rammed into this pub. It's very busy, so you're trying to keep them quiet, you're trying to make them laugh. At the same time, you're getting heckled, so you've got to react to the heckle. You can't let anyone get the better of you, really. You've got a fella who's be slightly threatening, so you don't know if it's going to go off. You don't know if a fella's going to come over and give you the punch, belt you on the side of the head. So you're watching that, you're watching every situation, and when the situation's going a bit sour, when it looks as though it could go off, there's going to be a kick-off, there's going to be a fight, you've still got to try somehow to make that funny.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. Now that Scottish guy, he was okay in the end. I had a drink with him later on, he was great. So as he's heckling me, any good comedian will tell you this, not only have you got to do that, you're kind of leaving yourself, you're trying to make yourself be able to react to any contention, anything that happens in that room. You've got to be able to do your very best to deal with, not being attacked on clubs and punch people, but then you've got to push them away and try to get the audience back, so to speak, try and get them laughing again. So the last thing you want is for a horrible atmosphere to sink into the room. So even though one of those fellas was actually kicking off, you've got to try and make it funny by saying, fucking hell, it's rough in here. At the same time of doing that, you've got to think, hang on, I've got a Scottish fella in front of me here.
Yeah.
So my mind's racing, looking at all the kind of Scottish gags at the back of my mind, maybe from 10, 20 years ago, somebody told me a gag. So as I'm doing one gag or picking on one person, I'm actually thinking, come on Frankie, come up with a Scottish gag which will suit this situation. And one came to me, the one about the Scottish fella in court for shagging a cat. And the judge said, no Scotsman would put anything in a kitty. And that worked very well that day.
Okay, let's crack on.
Gay. Someone sent him a letter bomb. When he opened it, it went puff. He's been mates after he looked fucking great there.
Now we stopped that there. That's the only thing that kind of, what's the word? I regret, really. Everybody and anybody that walked past me that day, I picked on and savaged and said something. Now, I knew that guy. I'd been speaking to him at the bar. He was only a little fella. When he walked past, I should have said something to him. But, you know, I should have said, you fell off a key ring. Are you looking for Snow White? Something about him being small. I didn't really have to, because the laughter level was still up there. And I was engaged in a kind of a tit-for-tat with the Scottish fella at the bar, so really didn't want to disrupt that, you know, and take their minds to another place, you know, the Snow White thing. So I give him a pass, you know, let him go by without really saying anything. But sometimes I watch that and I think maybe I should have said something to him. I've let someone get away with walking past me without having to go with him.
You see the way these people are walking past you in front of you to go to the toilet? Does that make your life easier or harder?
Well, it makes it easier in some ways, because anybody that's moved, any gag, you can get the funniest joke in the world, you can tell it to a crowd and you'll get a good laugh. Situationally, if something happens and it's a situation that's happening now, right in front of your very eyes, at that very second, always the intensity of that moment makes it 10 times funnier.
Okay.
So people are going to the toilet and they're coming back, I'm picking on them, and it's like a merry-go-round of people, and I can pick on people and pick on people. The only thing that you've got to watch in that situation is if there's too many people, in the end you will run out of things to say.
Okay, let's crack on. Halfway through.
Who you pick on, ladies and gentlemen? Is I'm fed up getting filled in with this fucking act. I'm just waiting for the skin to come back. You better back me up if your fucking kicks off. Come on, you're the fucking IBF champion, aren't you?
Oh, when the makeup's in upstairs, they can't have the part of pop into sheen on that, mate.
Just take a short break while I fill this dickhead in.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
This is probably the main part of the video.
This is what made the video, really, wasn't it?
Okay.
I think so, don't you?
Fellas, the fella you were having a go at earlier, he's not the Scottish fella, am I right?
He was with him.
Okay, he's with the Scottish
Yeah, he's
fella.
with the Scottish fella.
So you had a little bit of a tit for tat for them earlier. He goes in the toilet.
Yeah.
He comes out. You actually say in the video, I'm waiting for him to come out the toilet.
I was waiting for him to go to the toilet because he had been heckling me and he started to get a little bit nasty, a little bit aggressive. So when he was in the toilet, you know, at the back of my mind, I thought, this fucking prick's coming back out now.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to try and give me a belt, try and hit me or whatever. Sometimes they'll come up to you and try and put you in a fucking headlock, anything like that. So I was kind of on me, I was watching the situation very carefully. And as I say, what I've learned over the years is never let anyone get too close. If they get too close, and you don't forget, I've only got one hand. I've got the mic in one hand, nothing in the other. So you've just got to be aware, you know, of your situation, just like a boxer in a boxing ring. So that if somebody throws a belt at you, you can get out the way, back off, give people time to jump on him. Anyone in the crowd might know the owner, or if there's bouncers there, people to jump on him and drag him away.
Yeah.
I mean, it never looks good if there's a fight in a place, but sometimes it's unavoidable. But he went to the toilet. Actually, what he was actually doing, I found out, you know, like 12 months later, really, he'd gone in the toilet and his hands were wringing wet. I don't know whether he'd washed his hands or he pissed on his hands. And he came back, and what he was doing, he was trying to rub my head.
What he actually says is,
Yeah.
you go, yeah, let me just play it one more time.
Fucking IBF champion, aren't you?
Sure it is. Oh, when we go to upstairs, the counterpart, what is the sheet on that, mate?
What he says is, I want, you go, what do you want, mate?
Yeah.
He says, I want a big house in Ormskirk, which is like somewhere, like a posh area.
Yeah,
just
that's
outside
right.
Liverpool.
It's an expensive area in Liverpool, yeah.
He said, I want something else. I couldn't work out.
Car in the park or something. Or
Something like that, it sounds like, doesn't it? And then he said, and put Mr. Sheen on that, mate.
That's what he was doing. He
Okay.
was trying to make out, pretend that the water on his hands or the piss on his hands was Mr. Sheen polish, and he was saying, you've got nowhere, let me polish your head.
Got ya.
But it looked to me as though he was kind of leaning over. A lot of people kind of test the water in a way, bit of a pun on the word, what he was doing, but they try and like see how far they can go with you. Now, I won't give them an inch. If you give them an inch, they will take a mile. I mean, even if you can get away with it, they'll give you a little punch or whatever, or slap you across the face. So I knew that day I couldn't let that guy get away with anything at all. And as he's leaning over, I didn't know he was just going to rub me head. You know, for all I knew, he could have like been waiting to give me a belt, so I pushed him away.
So that part of the video, in your opinion, is that why that video was so appealing to people?
I've always said for years, I know you may have disagreed with me on this, people are a bit blasé now about comedians. They've heard all the gags, they've heard all the material, they want to see real-time, live situations that could be potentially threatening. We've all seen things on, you know, YouTube situations and on the TV where there's fights in the club and things, but people like to watch tension. They like to watch things and where they don't know what's going to happen, and they go, you know, people are watching and go, hang on, Frank, oh, this guy's going, what's he going to do here? He looks threatening. Is he going to give him a belt? No, he's backing off a little bit. Hang on, Frankie's pushed him. He shouldn't have pushed him. Maybe the fella's going to hit him now, or is he going to hit the fella? So that's getting people's adrenaline going and getting people interested in the situation, and that's what I think made it so popular.
Okay, let's crack on with the vid.
It's your break, man. I feel like dickhead in.
Again, there's where, you know, there was a little bit of a situation. Nobody was quite sure if he was doing it in jest, you know, as a laugh, bit of fun, or whether he was a little serious. I didn't even know, maybe he didn't even know. Some of these people don't even know themselves that they're kicking off, or that they're not kicking off. They're doing it purely by instinct. So, you know, he may have come over in, you know, all in good faith, just to have a bit of a laugh, but maybe in the end, when he got close to me, he could have kicked off. So after he'd done that, I'm well aware that, you know, 50 to 70% of the people in that crowd may well have thought, fucking hell, this isn't good, this is a very threatening situation, there could be a big fight. So I have to try and defuse the situation then by making a joke of it, by saying, fucking hell, fucking rough in here, innit? You know, if you had a quiz night in here, first question would be, who you fucking looking at?
Do you think
making it funny?
Do you think people like the put downs that you gave to people, and how simple they are, and the fact that they can repeat those to their friends and stuff like that?
Yeah, you've got it. You know, a lot of comedians try to be too sophisticated, try to be too clever. They're coming out, even when they're coming out with these what you call put downs, when people are threatening or they're heckling you, you come back, and it's a comedian's job. You've got to come back with something clever and funny to shut them up, but you can't be too sophisticated yourself, you can't be too clever. I've learned over the years, you get a bigger laugh, you could rehearse, you could write material, you could say, this is brilliant, listen to this is really, any hecklers today, they heckle me, I'm going to say this to them, it'll reduce them to tears and get a huge laugh. It will never get as big a laugh as just saying to someone, fuck off, you fucking dickhead.
Interesting. Okay, because it's simple.
Keep it simple.
Okay, let's see.
Fucking prick, fuck off.
Oh, wait there. We need to back up on that.
Okay.
So you actually go to swipe the fella in the face, let's see.
What is the sheet on that, mate?
Just take a short break, man. I feel like dickhead in.
Yeah. Just run that back in a little, let me see that again.
Fuck off.
You want me to run it back again?
A little bit, yeah.
When we go to upstairs, the counterpart, what is the sheet on that, mate?
Just take a short break, man.
Yeah, well, what that is there, you see.
You fucking prick, fuck off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether he was kicking off or he wasn't kicking off. But one of the rules, one of the things I've learned over the years with working on stage, sometimes you let people get too close to you. Now, as I just said before, they may not, when they're approaching you, approach you with malice. They're not gonna hit you, but they can just change just like that. They all of a sudden maybe someone in the crowd is laughing at them, maybe they want to try and impress their mates, whatever it is, just a knee-jerk reaction, they'll just hit you. So what I always do, the golden rule with me is don't give them the opportunity to get close enough, keep them at bay. Now, to keep them at bay, you've got to push them away. The way he was a big lad. He was awkward the way he was standing. I couldn't get close enough to push him away in the chest. So I kind of like tried to slap his head, which is like a warning shot, keep away. And once he knew that I was up for it, that I wouldn't take a belt off him, that I would retaliated, then he kind of backed off. Yeah, I could see in his face that his demeanour had changed, where he was very confident when he first come up, and he's going like that, trying to hit me or whatever he's trying to do. But as soon as I retaliated, tried to slap him back, pushed him away, his kind of face changed, as though he realised, not that he was in trouble, but if he gets in a fight situation, he will be in a fight. I would have retaliated, so he kind of backed off.
Now, first of all, do you think he was doing it in jest? Because from me, what it looks like is he's just having a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, you're probably right, I'd say 70% that he was messing about, and he was messing about, but as I just said to you, you can't afford to give people... I've had people approach me laughing the fucking heads off, and the next minute you've got a big fist in your face.
Got you, okay.
You can't, you've got to be so careful. Some people are very deceptive. He can come along laughing his head off, and when he gets right up to you, as I say, something might happen. All of a sudden something might click in his brain where, I don't like this fella anyway. Somebody might be laughing at him behind his back and he doesn't like it, thinking I'm being humiliated, and he'll just lash out and hit you. So you've got to be so careful. Even if you're not like a smiling assassin, some of them are. So you've got to watch yourself. You can't afford to let them hit you, touch you, or get too close.
Okay, cool. Let's crack on with the vid.
We'll give you that many left, and you're begging me for the right.
Now that's another thing. There's another thing. He's heckling me. Now I'm saying to him, I'll give you that many lefts, left hooks, that you will be begging me for a right, which is a very old, little routine, little gag, but it's quite funny. But it's relaying to the crowd that you're a comedian and it's a laugh, it's funny. We're not really in that kind of a bad of a situation. But it's also at the same time letting him know that you're confident and you're not frightened of him and that you're treating him as a joke.
Okay.
God, you're a boxer. The only boxer in fucking Liverpool with a cauliflower ass. Fuck off, you cross-eyed twat. You're that cross-eyed, when you cry, your tears go down your fucking back.
Just to stop it there, a lot of those one-liners, to me, they're very kind of like, as you say, they're simple. Yeah. And, people have heard them a million times. But a lot of those one-liner jokes people love. Why is that?
They love it because it's so simple. It's simple for them to understand. But you look at the situation that I'm in, me and that guy, it suits the situation down to the ground.
Okay.
So, because it's a confrontational situation where he's trying to, in a way, dominate me, overpower me, being a little bit threatening, although he's having a laugh, a little tiny bit threatening. I'm trying to redress the balance, because I'm on the stage, I'm not on the mic, I've got 200 people in the room, I'm the dominant male, so to speak, I'm looking down on them, they're listening to what I say, so I'm dominant, he's challenging my dominance, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
Trying to embarrass me, make a fool of me, humiliate me, and even hit me. And what I'm doing is making it funny, still being the funny guy, but letting him know that I don't feel threatened by him at all and that he's the joke.
Fair enough.
Have I been spiked? Am I fucking dreaming this? Fucking talking about 3 stone kicking fucking here. So you had the quiz night here. First question for you, you fucking looking at? Fucking plot on, I think the Scottish fellas calmed down. And I think the other skinny fellas got for something to eat. Does anyone else cook that? You know what I mean? No offence, I saw you in the butchers, remember? No, you mate. Saw you in the butchers, don't you remember?
No, with the big sausage.
No, the butchers. He said to the butcher, hey mate, is that a pig's head in the window? He said, no, it's a mirror. All right, love. Hey girl, good job the Yorkshire River got in here. You put the mask on your fucking head. If you open the fridge, the fish fingers will go for your fucking throat. She went to Blackpool, she got her money back on the ghost train.
Okay, so wrapping up, tell me, you know, you just watched that again years later.
Yeah.
Have you got more of an idea of why people loved that? You know, that particular video?
Yeah, I think it was lucky to begin with that people kind of stuck to it, because really, when the video started off, when I was getting filmed, they missed about 10 or 15 minutes off. And when I was doing the thing about do not be afraid, about the fellas old in the crowd, and the horse dragging into the cemetery, I don't think a lot of people maybe got on that, but it came up with a couple of good gags that kept their attention. But I do feel as though the guy that was heckling me, that came to the stage and tried to hit me and fucking about, and the Scottish fella, and even the girl right at the end that I said at the Yorkshire Ripper was here, he put the mask on your head, she kind of kicked off in a way and came towards me, which people love, you know. They go, what's this bird gonna do? Is this girl gonna fucking hit him, or she's gonna grab him, or she's gonna kick off? People love all that. So I'd say that those two or three different situations really made the video.
Do you think it's funny?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think watching it now, kind of like, because I haven't seen it for a long time, it is very funny, and I think particularly right at the end with the girl, I think that's very funny. Yeah. My own belief is this: although to me that was just a normal afternoon, it could have been a normal night anywhere in the UK where people are walking past and I'm picking on them, I've had far better reactions than that in places, but I've had worse reactions. That's just kind of an average. I think what it was, why it went viral, people aren't daft, you know, people aren't stupid. A lot of people are very kind of discerning. They watched that and they could see that it was live, it was spontaneous, it wasn't staged. A lot of things are staged nowadays, where even some of these funny situations you see, you know, people coming off bikes in the streets or whatever, or being arrested by the police, or all these funny things, supposed to be funny videos, which are circulating, a lot of them are staged. But when you watch that, anyone who watched that video instinctively knows, probably people even knew, that you could tell really, I wasn't aware of the fact that it was being filmed.
Yeah.
And you can kind of pick that up from the video. It really looks as though you are a fly on the wall in that pub. You know, that it's not orchestrated, there's no manipulation, it's not staged, it's not like cut, it's not edited. It was just as it was, as it happened on the day, and people really felt as though they were there. Even though it was only for a few minutes, they really felt as though they were there. They transported themselves mentally to the inside of that club, into the situation, and that's what they really kind of they warmed to, and that's what they buzzed off, and that's what they liked, and that's why it went video. Well, that's why the video went viral.
Brilliant. So let us know, why did you enjoy that video? If you've watched it, if you haven't watched it, it will be linked below. Please do give us a big thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed it. As we always say, new videos out every Tuesday at 7 PM. Get yourself subscribed to the channel. Frank, any last words?
Nothing at all really. I'm just glad I've done this today, because although I've never really figured out in my own mind why that video was so popular, I'm beginning to realise now, after not seeing it for a long time, watching it now kind of as an outsider, I can see why people are glued to it, because you never know what's going to happen. You're keeping people on the edge of the seat, so to speak, and because there was always a threat of a little bit of violence or confrontation. That's what makes it so compulsive viewing. You've got to watch because you just don't know what's going to happen next.
Brilliant. Massive thank you for you all tuning in today, and we'll see you on the next one.
All the best.
Nice one.